It is Wednesday evening, and that means it's time for another Auburn Family Night. This is your show where we talk about anything and everything Auburn. It's all about you, your calls, your questions, your comments. Let's get into anything and everything Auburn, starting right now. War Eagle Auburn family and a special War Eagle, and welcome to those of you that consider yourselves part of the E2C network family. Thank you so much for being here and hanging out with us on another Wednesday night Auburn Family Night, my favorite night of the week. It is the night where I have the least amount to do except to show up and let you guys dictate what we talk about. That's not the only reason I love it, just because we get to hear from a variety of different people. From a variety of places about what they're interested in right now related to the orange and blue. You'll see at the top of the title for this, there's a suggested topic, but that's not where we'll spend our entire time. Whatever you want to discuss is up on the table tonight. For those of you, a couple of things to address at the start of the show, and we'll do that. I do want to remind you that tonight is a live call-in night brought to you by our friends at allthingsauburn.net. The phone line is open up now for you to take part in if you choose to do so. So make sure you hit the link and we'll get you in as soon as you are able to join us and we're able to take your call this evening. Can be on camera, off camera, all those good things. We just love to see and hear from some of our beautiful people out there, part of the E2C network family. As you're coming into the stream, a couple of things I want to remind you of. Please, 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 humongous help right here. If you think we've earned it, make sure you smash that like button. It is a humongous help letting people know that we are live, that we are here, that they need to check this out on the replay. That is a huge, huge help. Also, make sure you share it out in social media, the link that you're watching from. Hit that share button on Facebook and let people know that we are live as well and that they can watch the replay too. So those are the things that you can do for us. Also, let us know you're here. We've got some people already checking in, some very familiar faces from across the E2C network family and so many others I know that will tune in that maybe are new first timers. Don't be shy. Let us know you're here and let's get into what you want to discuss tonight. So you tell me what you want to discuss. For now, let me do what I call setting the table for you of the variety of topics that we could hit within the Auburn family experience. Obviously, and this is a bit of a somber note still, as of about an hour ago when I was last online checking things, we know the story about Brian Battie and his unfortunate incident he was involved with, being shot in the head, apparently, with a shooting situation in Sarasota, Florida. His brother tragically lost his life. Still, the story continues to be that he is on a ventilator of sorts, and I haven't heard anything else about that, nor would I speculate without any official confirmation or anything like that. Our prayers continue to be with the Battie family, regardless of how this shakes out with Brian. And it's already a tragedy enough, and we're just continuing to pray for hopefully a miracle in this situation. There was an update today that the culprit was, or at least the suspect was brought into custody. So we'll hopefully get some conclusions to that part of this mystery. That is the sad part about this, but we also want to address 1,000 other things that we've got going on. Spring sports, the big ones, are done, folks. They are donezo. They are gone. Sad that we're in May and we're not talking about softball and baseball. Obviously, some implications and things around that we could discuss. Women's golf just wrapped up. Men's golf is still in contention for a national championship. Tennis, I believe, is wrapping up their times, if not already. And track and field is just entering NCAA competition. So I believe that's all, if not most of the spring sports accounted for you. So you can kind of understand when we titled this episode, what could happen for Auburn over the summer? That's my question. We have pretty much reached that point. If we wait till the very last Auburn program to get done, it'll take a while. Because if baseball was still in on it, we would still be probably waiting for them into July if they were having a great year. So we're, in essence, at least for me, when baseball and softball are done, that is the unofficial kickoff of the Auburn summer for me. Obviously, Memorial Day is this Monday. Yes. So there's that element of it, kind of like the unofficial start of summer. So I guess that's my question to a lot of you out there. What is your Auburn summer going to look like? Or is it going to have anything Auburn in it? Are you going to visit the loveliest village on the plains? Are you going to just sit there stewing about what this football season is going to look like? All of those things are on the table. So let us know what you maybe what you plan to do or don't do, what you're going to be thinking about. What are you focused on this summer? That would be something maybe to talk a little bit about tonight on the show. A lot of people expressing condolences and well wishes and very most important thoughts about Mr. Brian and what's going on with him. We are all very concerned with what transpired, and it just, I hope when I say this, it doesn't come across the way maybe I wonder if it sounds, but it just feels like every summer we have something happen that's just so unfortunate, even if it's not something to this magnitude of life being at stake. I hope that this is it for the time being, because it's just unnecessary, and it's just very, very, very sad. We were going to be on the Voice of College Football this week to talk about Brian Battie, but we never were able to line up with the schedule. Oh, that's another thing. Sorry, but we were going to be there to talk about it, but we never were able to get the schedule lined up for anything like that. So most of you will notice that I am in a different location. Some of you who've been watching a long time will recognize this is a pretty similar location to what you've seen when I've been on the road. I am on the road in Alabama, actually, not too far from Auburn, helping out with family, and I will be here for the next week. So effectively, we'll be hanging out here. We don't have any other scheduled live streams this week, but you never know, with news breaking and things like that, we might want to jump on and address. So obviously, anytime I'm on the road, I really ask for you, the viewers and the listeners, to tell me how's the sound quality, how's the video quality, connection wise, but also the viewing quality. All of those things are really helpful to know for me, because obviously I can't make adjustments if you guys don't tell me. So that's like a little bit of a housekeeping note of where I am and stuff like that. Latrell says the background still looks good. You wouldn't think that I would spend meticulous amounts of time trying to get the background right, but I do. That's just the content creator in me. And I can already see that the flag behind me is a little off center. It's at least like the angle a little bit, but thank you for the affirmation that it's at least serviceable. But yeah, so we're here, we're hanging out, and I guess my only concern is the internet connectivity here can go up and down at times. So stand by if it ever feels like we lose connection. We will try to get back onto a good standing in like a second or two after that. Good reports all the way around. That's what I love to hear. You make me feel like this is going to go well tonight. All right. What is on y'all's minds? What are we thinking about? We got Indiana checking in. We've got Alabama checking in. We have got lots of different people from places across this lovely United States. Haven't had anybody international checking in a while. Although, I'm going to give a shout out, and I haven't seen him for quite some time. I think his handle is SIG for life or SIG for life, but Rob Donaldson, who was a very frequent guy here on the channel, I believe he serves or does something military related and has been much involved with that for a while, which is why we haven't seen him. But it just sparked my memory that we haven't seen him for a while, and I kind of miss seeing and hanging out with him. So if y'all see him around on YouTube or things like that, let him know that we miss him over here at E2C Network. I hope everything is going well. For me, with the Memorial Day coming around, and obviously kind of the unofficial start of summer, I guess it's hard to not start thinking about all of those questions that we want answered right now about the Auburn football team. What do we think the team's record going to be? How do we think the offense is going to be improved? They're still very unrealistic and sometimes hateful people hoping that Peyton Thorne is going to fail this summer and this fall, so he won't be the starting quarterback. To them, I say, well, I'll be nice. How about that? I have no problems if you are not happy about Peyton Thorne being the starting quarterback, but I do expect you to be supportive, and that's kind of some of the narratives out there that we're still dealing with and having to talk about a lot. I think if you looked at the thumbnail this evening, you'll notice that we don't really have an Auburn image there, but because Auburn is implicated in it, talking about college football 25, the game officially had its trailer come out last week. We did a reaction trailer of that. It's on YouTube. I believe we put that up on Facebook, maybe X as well. I cannot remember. It's been a crazy 2 weeks for me. I know I say that a lot, but I promise you this has been a crazy 2 weeks. But obviously, since it wasn't fresh on our minds, the trailer being out when we did this show this time last week, I wanted to kind of throw that out there as a potential, conversation piece of sorts. And I've asked of our Conquer Club members, I've asked just on social media, but let me ask the room again. And if you've already answered this, just bear with me and play along. How many of you are going to get College Football 25, the video game, effectively NCAA Football 25, if you want to call it that? It's not its official name, but it's what you could go by. How many of you out there are going to be purchasing College Football 25 and playing it this summer? Yes, but it'll be almost the end of summer. If you think about it, we'll have SEC Media Days and then the release of NCAA 25. I did it again. College Football 25. I am super excited about it. I'm excited about it just to play college football in a new game in general. But I am also excited to play as Auburn and see what they did or didn't do justice to in terms of our traditions, because that's been one of the big things for this game, about how much in detail they were going for most, at least prominent schools. A lot of people are super excited about it. 313 Edit says, I'm getting the MVP bundle thing. Wow, congratulations. I'm glad you were able to do that. I have to purchase a system and I have to purchase the game. So I will not be spending extra money than I have to at this time. WT says, I'm a grown man with a job and 2 small children. Who has time for a video game? Well, I am a grown man. And while I do not have 2 small children, I can attest that I have a very busy lifestyle and I still will find time to play this dadgum game. I am super, super excited about it. If I had a system that would play it, yes, I'd rather play NCAA 06. 06 is a very interesting choice. Why 06? Is that just the last one that you have? It's a very specific, oddly specific one. I'm trying to think about, because that would be after, would that be the one directly after the undefeated season? Maybe. Because whenever they come out each year, it's always the year. It's not the like we're playing the 2024 season, but they're calling it NCAA College Football 25. So think about it that way. Still playing NCAA 13 and loving it. That was the last one, right? Or was it 14? Was the last one? Yeah. I have broken it out almost every summer for at least about a week or two and played it. I had a really good time the last time playing as head coach Cody Burns. I think I started at UMass and then led them to a very poor season and somehow got hired by Texas State and turned Texas State around to become a national championship. And I moved them to the Big 12, a like 2 or 3 time Big 12 championship winner team on a difficult setting, and then getting hired by my alma mater after they fired Gus Malzahn. Ironically, almost the exact same year, because I played it for so many seasons, that Gus did get fired. So Cody Burns made it back to become the head coach of his alma mater after a national championship winning program being built at Texas State. I had a lot of fun playing at that, to be honest with you. Tecmo Bowl is a good one, so you can play with Bo. I know we're doing a lot of video game talk here right now, but if anybody has the Switch, and I think you can download the packs for playing certain games from old systems that Nintendo has the rights to, like N64, old Nintendo. I believe Tecmo Bowl is on that. So if you have a Switch, look into that, and you might be pleasantly surprised and have some fun playing as Bo. So just a little bit of a hint out there. Thomas says that 06 was the pinnacle for college football games for me. I play 14, but it's not as good in my opinion. Interesting. Thomas, if you're calling in tonight, or you can do it in the chat, I want to hear why it's the pinnacle. Because the graphics got to be night and day better on 06, but that must mean that the gameplay is just even more superior. New stream room. No, not a new stream room. In fact, you've seen me here before, probably. This is just a temporary space that I use when I have to travel to a certain location. I am taking care of family right now. So everything's fine on the, in the grand scheme of things, but I'm doing my family duty right now by hanging out and spending some time here. And it's a pleasure to do so. But that means we have to improvise. That means that we're here. And I'll be honest with you, I'm kind of pleased with, at least for what I'm having to work with, the lighting setup and stuff like that. I've done it this way before, but I've not taken the time to actually kind of measure some things out and really make this not just look like it was thrown together. And I know the background is just a banner, but like the setup for the microphone, all these things. So that's what's going on there. WT with a good point. If Thomas likes 06 better, it must be better linemen in it. Well, I mean, thinking back to like some of those 04, 05, 06 teams that ran the ball pretty dang good. They had some pretty good backs. Cadillac, Ronnie, Kenny Irons. You would think, yeah, because just because you're a good back doesn't mean that Tank Bigsby, being a prime example of that, doesn't mean that you're going to have the numbers. So I bet there's some pretty good offensive linemen for Auburn there, or just in general. So good thought there. Good thought. Yes, we always appreciate his input on lineman stuff. He is a passion for offensive lineman performance that is unmatched, at least that I have found thus far. So anyway, I know we went down a rabbit hole there with video game talk as opposed to Auburn stuff, but I always like to ask, like, who else is on the save waiting list as me, who's going to be playing as Auburn this summer. I do hope to have some things for that. I am not one that is very up on streaming your video game playing. So a lot of people have asked me to actually stream playing the game. While I do feel like I can get my prowess back at it, I'll need some time. But I think what we will do once I figure out how to set it up is actually do like game previews for you guys, like run a simulation on there and you let the computer figure it out, and let's just see how it all shakes out. So to see if you agree or not agree for Auburn this season or something like that. Well, those of you that wonder if we will utilize NC College Football 25, yes, we will make attempts to do that. I'll also tell you this. In the summer, we like to do some different things, try some things. A lot of our Conquer Club people are privy to these things because we share insights with them. We've been kind of working on some new podcast series that some of them may be video podcasts too, that we've got coming out Auburn related, that I think no specific dates yet, but I think a lot of you will appreciate them and maybe even find them useful down the line. So this is definitely the time where we like to experiment a little bit and try things. Look, question for the room. We haven't done this in a while. What does everybody feel like at Auburn trivia night? Is that something that everybody finds interesting. The trouble is doing a trivia night effectively through a stream is quite a challenge to, like, unless you just want to do it for funsies, and which is perfectly fine. But to me, that's something that I did with a previous project, not Auburn related, that we found a system that worked. I don't know that it would work with our crowd and the patience level that we have. And sometimes the crowd levels we have too. It's a much bigger crowd here from time to time than would manage with that. So if anybody has any thoughts about running trivia nights or anything like that, let me know. It might be something we do exclusively for our Carker Club, maybe just for everybody. I don't know, something, throwing it out there. Sometimes we put things on the back burner and we come back to them. That's how we ended up on YouTube. Everybody was like screaming at me, Kyle, there's nobody on YouTube. You need to do video. I'm like, I don't know. And then I did it. Here we are. It would be interesting to run simulations before each game this year and see how it differs from the real game. The problem is that it's going to be so computerized that it won't be able to factor in things, how, if it was able to somehow change every week how the team has been performing, like injuries that are at play, that would be so accurate. But the problem is that you're going to have somebody starting quarterback go down. Heaven forbid it's Auburn. And, then that's going to really alter the course of the season in some way, good or bad. So I don't know how that would be one thing I'd like to see worked into it. Down for a trivia night. What about a trivia poll and see who gets it right or wrong? Are you talking about that's how we would operate? That's what you're suggesting? Like that's how we operate it? There are a variety of ways that you could score it. The problem is it never satisfies everybody, and they're very much frustrated with not being counted a certain way, all that stuff. Trivia will end up with everyone using Google to answer, and that's the reality too. That's the reality too. So the way you have to do that is you have to put a timer on it, and a realistic timer, like meaning, and the other, I know we're talking just high level stuff here that maybe is not interesting. We'll get into some more Auburn talk, but this is what these nights are about. Sometimes it's brainstorming. What you have to do is you have to set a time limit that is realistic for somebody to be able to recall in their mind. Do they actually know it? Not have enough time to look it up, at least give them ample amount of time to look it up. Then you also have to factor in the delay that's on YouTube. Like what you guys are hearing me say right now, and sometimes it even differs per experience, was said about 20 seconds before. You're hearing it 20 seconds later than when I actually said it, which is why sometimes y'all's responses are delayed. And sometimes somebody's stream gets behind and they're not aware. So then you start getting answers coming in. So I'm not saying it can't be done again. It's just one of those things that we tried one time. There was a lot of energy about it, and then it just we never did it again. So I was just curious about trivia nights, and might be something we do one summer night just for funsies. But what you will always know here is that you will have a place on Wednesday nights and Sunday nights, barring our schedules. Like this week, we're not doing a Sunday show because it's Memorial Day weekend. It's actually going to be my birthday weekend too. Austin was already going to be out of town, so no Auburn experience this week. But Wednesday shows, I really don't think we will have one more official conflict for a Wednesday night. I don't know that I'm going to have an official official Sunday night conflict after this one, maybe for the whole summer. I don't know. I say that now I'm setting myself up for failure. All right. I know what I'm about to bring up here is counter to what I always say here, that you shouldn't spend a lot of time worrying about the decisions of 18-year-olds. But I know this is one of the things that a lot of people during the summer for Auburn get focused on and start thinking about recruiting. Where are your minds at? What are you thinking about? Who are you paying attention to? Let's all say it collectively. Everybody's typing it right now. Julian Lewis, Juju Lewis. He has become the new Ryan Williams. At least I think he has. That being the wide receiver that went to Alabama. That was, oh, he's coming. He's coming. He wasn't coming. He was never coming. So that's one thing that's on top of my mind. But if there's somebody else that you're interested, I know there's been a lot of visits scheduled, transfer portal stuff, even for like basketball too. There's a need to fill a particular guard spot that's still out there. We just filled a forward spot with Mr. Hudson, but there is a need to find at least one more guard. There are 2 spots available in basketball, but we definitely need probably a backup point guard in a sense, like a true point guard to have here. Somebody who's ready to take their next stage of evolution in their college basketball level of competition. You're not going to find one of these. You're not going to find a Piggeegs coming here and doing that. WT says, I stopped worrying about recruiting about 7 years ago. I pay no attention to who has committed. The only time I look at it is when it's signing day. Why add stress to your life? There are valid points with that, WT, and that I feel very similar to you. I like being aware of it, and I find value in it because I think it gives you a barometer of sorts on how the program is doing. And recent examples of that, you look at the Harsin years and things like that. It'll kind of indicate to you where we're at and who's got the interest and stuff like that. But again, this is a system based off of stars that people put way too much emphasis on and put way too much of their happiness and their joy into. So it's kind of one of those things that as most things are, you've got to find that balance of being interested in it, wanting to be a little bit informed about it. I have to be for what I do, but these daily questions that I get on like some of our TikTok live streams of, is Juju Lewis going to commit? I don't know. Frankly, at the moment, I don't care. Shane with a good question got me interested. Did the basketball player from Stanford commit to Auburn? I don't know, but now you've got me intrigued. Let's find out if there's been anything that's broken in the last hour or so. As I always tell you guys, I am very much out of the loop for the last 2 hours and change leading up to the show because I have to check out at some point to chill out for the day. But I don't see anything offhand. And especially Auburn basketball's social media accounts is very good about knowing what people want to see. And even if they can't officially say, welcome this recruit or this commit yet, they would like do the eyes emoji or the Bruce looking at the tweets thing. No acknowledgement at this point. That's kind of a cool thing, though. Sanford to Auburn. Sanford and Auburn have a lot of good ties. And I would say that we're probably going to get a guard from a similar storyline, like a small university like Stanford to Auburn. So no, I don't know anything yet about that. It's a good question, but yeah. WT adds, I don't ignore it, but I don't stress over it and get upset if we lose someone. Well, a lot of people could take your advice. All right, we got our first caller tonight. Let's get them in. You guys can get in line as well. Hit that link up at the top of the chat on YouTube. If you're on Facebook, you'll have to come to YouTube to do so. But a very familiar face and someone who loves to talk about offensive linemen. You know him, you love him. Mr. Thomas Manville, what's going on?
War Eagle, y'all.
War Eagle, how you doing, buddy?
And I'm doing great. I hope everybody else is too.
I've got you really low on my. I'm gonna turn you up a little bit. Give me some sound.
Oh Lord, I gotta fix my volume.
Oh, hang on one second here. I'm gonna. Oh, wait a minute. I got you.
All
See
right,
this has nothing to do with you, by the way. It's all me. Like that's me in this new setup that I have.
I thought it was my fault.
No. Right. When I'm on the road, there is no telling what I have messed up with the new setup. So anyway, good to see you, buddy.
Good to see y'all. Hope everybody's doing well. Man, it's a wonderful evening here in Leeds, Alabama. It's like, according to the thermometer, it's a balmy 87 degrees in the sunroom. So we're cruising into summer, which is the worst time possible to be an Auburn fan because we have nothing to do. We really don't have anything to do other than wait on football. So Here we are.
Especially, and there's no baseball, there's no softball still going. The other spring sports are wrapping up. So there's literally bare minimum to hold your attention. And so now we sit here obsessing about football. Speaking of, I'm going to ask you, since you're here, why NCAA 06 over the later versions?
I think it's a smoother playing platform. There's maybe 10% nostalgia and 90% it plays smoother.
Okay.
Just for me.
Yeah.
It's what I grew up. I grew up playing I started with 01 and went all the way to 09, but I think 06 really is the one.
Yeah.
That's just where I like PS2 better than anything else, but I'm not knocking any of the newer stuff. I'll probably eventually get into the 24, but I mean, at the core, man, 06 was just the best. It really was to me.
Well, I'm happy to hear it's not like just a nostalgia thing, because that's what I was wondering if it was, that it's more of this just plays the way that I would like a NCAA football game to play. Frankly, I don't know that I have a favorite, but I don't know if you remember Bill Walsh football, college football. Do you remember that one? No?
It was a long time ago.
It was a long time ago, but I remember I had it on the Sega Genesis, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, I'm trying to remember which Auburn players were on it, at least that you knew, that, because this was before they started, clearly making them in their likeness and stuff like that. But it was such an old system. But I remembered always playing the Iron Bowl in that, and loving every aspect of that. Anyway, so I just wanted to talk a little bit see what your perspectives were on that. What else you got in your mind?
I get it. I'm excited for the new game to come out, but I'm not excited to spend an exorbitant amount of money, basically, to be able to play it. So I think I'll just hold off, and I'll go play it at a friend's house and see what it's all about. But I'm not willing to spend that amount of money to play a new college football game, especially if it's close to Madden.
Right.
Because those mechanics are just awful. Like, they're just not. The running mechanics, the way your quarterback moves, it doesn't do anything for me.
I thought they were trying to separate it a little bit. Were they not?
From people I've talked to, they said it's very, very close to Madden playability.
Okay.
And now I don't know. I hadn't plugged it in. I haven't played it, but if it's going to be just like Madden and that same engine, it ain't doing nothing for me.
That's fair. And listen, less money spent there is more time potentially coming to Auburn to a football game, to an important ticket or something like that, because last time you tried to come to Auburn, you brought a monsoon with you, sir. So
no, that was second to last time. That was the A-Day game. The monsoon came. The other time I had to sit through New Mexico State at the very top row.
Let me ask you this. Do you think you would have been more frustrated with the Brian Harsin fall apart at Mississippi State, where Bo Nix got hurt that game and was out in the upper deck, top row? What was more? What, I know it's easy to say New Mexico State because you lived it, but do you think that frustration at that point in time would have been more, or no?
No. I think New Mexico State definitely. It was at home. It's supposed to be a surefire win.
Yeah.
And it just went completely sideways.
Yeah.
And I watched the whole thing, and it was awful. But the day overall was great. I had my best friend with me. I had my father with me, and I had my courthouse wise, my former fiance. But I am getting married on Saturday, and I'm very excited about that.
Nice.
But man, that was a long day.
Yeah.
And I paid for parking and everything. I paid for parking and everything.
Jeez. Paid for just to watch. I don't even know what you'd call that at this point. I will tell you that I think if I'm asking the same question of myself, and again, I lived one experience, you lived the other. So it's easy for us to say the other is worse because that's what we experienced. Right. But the context around Mississippi State, we had just come off a big top 10 win under Brian Harsin. People forget about that, over Ole Miss. I was there for that one too. It was, I know, but at the time it was a top 10 win,
Right.
and it looked like things were turning the right direction. Bo was playing well, and I think we even had a week off, and so we had this just great high going into the bye week, and we came out to a very, mild Mississippi State weather game day. I think it was 11 o'clock, and there's always that stigma about 11 o'clocks. We come out. We just bulldoze them in the first half, and it's just like, are we even going to stay around? And I always stay around, but people start leaving. And then the second half occurred. Bo gets hurt, and it wouldn't stop bleeding. It just wouldn't stop. Like, it's like you were watching a car wreck happen over and over and over, and I just lived through a car wreck, so I can say that. But anyway. Oh, you didn't know that?
No, are you okay? Everybody okay?
I'm okay. We actually just got some stuff finalized with the insurance stuff. I was hitting. I'm sorry. I thought you were privy to that. Yeah, it was about a week and a half ago, that Sunday show, the Auburn Experience. I don't know if you listen, you could probably hear me almost kind of like that talking sometimes, because I got hit, I got whiplash or whatever it is in the side and had a contusion on my leg, but all in all, I'm okay.
Oh, you got a contusion, so you're out for 2 to 3 weeks?
Yes. I'm out for 2 to 3 weeks, and I can't do my show because I have a contusion on my leg. But anyway, I'm all right.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. As far as you've told me, everybody is okay.
Yeah. Everybody walked away from it. I got the worst of it. It was just me in my car. Okay. But I joked about this. I literally, and this is a minor thing, I literally just put the Auburn, the Tiger Giving Day sticker on the back of my car. And I was like, I don't know why I'm proud of that one for some reason. Because we always give to the Raptor Center here at E2C Network. And so I just literally replaced it, went on a vacation trip, and then boom, car's gone. Like, literally, it got pulled away today. It's gone. So, anyway.
Well, you shouldn't have put the sticker on there, because you're a Raptor guy. You were an avian guy, correct?
I was, and I will always be an avian guy. Yes.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry that happened to you, but I'm glad you're okay. But so, how about that time I got in a fist fight with Big Al?
Yeah, okay, all right. Set the context up. This is something we talked about in Conquer Club today. Give us some context and tell us about this.
All right. So it's a Relay for Life, which some of you will probably recognize what that is. Mm-hmm. And it's something they do at high schools, and it's out on the field and all that. Well, Big Al showed up, and I happened to be dressed in a mascot suit as well. And I don't know if he was the official Big Al that year, but they have multiple costumes or outfits for most mascots. And I don't think you get one of those unless you've had something to do with the university. But there was a lot of small children around. People were pulling a tail. I decided it would be a great idea to play along with the kids. They seemed to be having fun. And this guy turned around and, like, you know when you've been hit in the face.
Right.
And you also know that you really can't see much if you're wearing a mascot head. You have a very limited field of view. But you know what a punch feels like. So I got whopped on my left side, and I said, "Hey, man, you need to chill out. There's kids around." He said expletives in front of these children, and I said, "All right, I've had enough." And I was on a very familiar field of grass to me, and I decided that I'm not going to be okay with that. So I did what I did, and
I did what I did.
And I'm not going to sit here and say I'm a tough guy and I'm proud of it, but you just hit me in the dadgum face, so I got to do something about it or never live it down.
Yeah.
So it ended with Big Al on. I didn't have a helmet, a mascot head on at the end of it, and he was underneath the knee, and I just kept swinging, and he said, "Hey, man, quit. Hey, man, quit. Hey, man, quit." And I said, "So you're okay with hitting somebody, but you're not okay with getting hit?" And he said, "Man, please stop. Please stop." And I said, "War Eagle." And I got up and I walked off.
Wow. Serving it to Big Al the way he deserves to be served.
He's soft, just like their fans are.
Well, look at him. You look at him spinning around his little stomach. They got that little ring around them. See, that's the difference between having a mascot and having a real tiger, because you don't hear about Obby. That's Obby's eyes, right? I mean, it's a real thing. That's what I was told. I've met him. He looks real to me. It's real to me. I don't know if you've ever seen that little clip before. But anyway, that's funny. Taking down Big Al.
Well, it was my civic duty.
That is the we need to figure out a way to give you like a Medal of Honor or something like that for taking down. You know what I do miss? I miss the days when like mascots would interact more on the field. I have this vivid memory of Auburn and Ole Miss game at Obby and Colonel Reb literally getting in the ground and doing like full on arm wrestles and stuff like that. And then Obby won and would like shove him and like, obviously they're playing. So it wasn't like, but I miss the days that kind of stuff happened. So sounds like you kind of got a taste of that.
I don't need a medal. I just want round 2. I just want to win the second one.
Which year, Thomas, did it happen? He asks. I need a big out.
It was 06.
06. Hey, there's a lot of good things in 06 for you, apparently. NCAA 06 and Big Al blocks.
Yeah, it had to have been 06. That would have been the year that I was not. Well, no, I did that, and then I had to undress and get redressed, and then go play music on stage that night. So
busy night.
I was charged up. It was a good night.
Well, what else is on your mind tonight, buddy?
Man, War Eagle, y'all. I hope y'all have a great night. I want Auburn to do as well as we can this year, but it really depends on depth, injuries, and consistency.
I agree.
We've got certain things that we have to get accomplished if we're going to win, and I'm confident that we can. Some of it is going to be luck of the draw, though.
Right.
It really is. Our depth on the trenches, the offensive line, the defensive line, receivers, especially quarterback. I'm nervous about quarterback because Peyton Thorne's clearly number one, but if something happens and he goes out, who in the world are we going to put in that's going to continue what success we had last year,
right,
or what success we're going to have this year? Right. Is it going to be a Hank Brown? Is it going to be a Holden Gerner? And I really don't think it's going to be Walker White. I know there's a lot of people out there championing for Walker White,
right,
saying he's great, put him in. He's got zero experience being a college starting QB.
Yeah.
So and neither did Bo Nix, and he did fine. But I think they're very, very different. Right. So you don't just throw Walker White out there as the anointed starter and say, he's going to fix every problem we have. He's not going to.
Right.
We watched it in spring. Go back and watch his throws in spring practice, not the A-Day game. There's some mechanics that need to be fixed. He's great. He's good. Don't get me wrong, but he's not ready to walk in, be number one, and lead us to the playoff or a bowl game win or a winning season.
Right.
We need to we need to cash our chips in on Peyton Thorne, and especially who's blocking for him, who's catching for him, who's running behind him. Mm-hmm. We've got a great cast of characters that we did not have the last year.
Yeah.
Under Hugh Freeze and his offense. We got rid of coordinators. We've got other people in. It's a different system, a different terminology. It looks better than honestly, it really looks better than it did a year and a half ago.
Oh, it does. Yeah. It passes the smell test,
Yeah, absolutely. So it comes down to execution. So preseason expectations, I don't have any. I can't give you something that makes me go, this is going to happen. There's nothing yet. We have to let it play out on the field. We've got a good schedule that plays in our favor, and I did review it because the last couple times I've messed up on who we're playing and who we're not playing. But
you've got like decades of experience with this same type of schedule every year, and now it's changed on you. You're allowed a little bit of a mistake.
Right. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. But man, we do have a tough schedule, but it is laid out. We've got a lot of games at home. We have got to win those, especially that Oklahoma game. We talked about that a couple weeks ago. We've got to win the big ones. We've been close the last couple of years. We've been close a couple of times to beating LSU.
Right.
We've been close a couple of times to beating Georgia and Alabama. But we haven't gone over that hump, and we have to.
Yeah.
So to continue with the recruiting and the transfer portal the way that we have been and growing, we've got to show that growth with wins.
Yep.
And if we don't show that growth with wins, we're not going to get those recruits. We're not going to get those transfer guys.
Yep.
It's just a part of the process. So it depends on the product we put out on the field. Is it good enough to win 8 or more games and win 1 to 2 close ones? I'm
Yep.
not even going to say 3 because we're still building. But can we win 2 close ones that we should not win? Because on paper, we shouldn't beat Georgia. We shouldn't beat Alabama. We shouldn't beat Oklahoma. But can we win 2 of those 3 or not?
Yep.
So if we can, I think we're in a great spot to keep building, keep growing. Like Hugh Freeze said when he came in, we're going to build from the high school ranks. We're going to fill in holes with the portal. And he has. The defensive line, offensive line. Last year was kind of a Band-Aid on both.
Yes.
But can we continue that? And can we move forward? Can we really put guys on the field and rotate guys that give us results? Or are we plugging a hole? The guy that gives us results is tired. We'll put this guy in and hope for the best. No, we can't do that. We watched that last year. We had guys that we tried to fill holes with that were not the guys. Look at the receivers we brought in. Look at some of the offensive linemen. Look at, especially at the defensive line. He was a 5-star. He was a 4-star, blah, blah, blah. What did he do on the field?
Right.
What did they do? Did they answer the call?
How many stars did they leave with?
Yeah. Did they get drafted? Are they making millions of dollars right now because they were that good? No, they were rotational pieces that we had to have. Mm-hmm. And I think we've got better ones this year because we went out and we found this guy with this specific skill set, this guy with that specific skill set. Mm-hmm. We found edge guys. We found interior guys. It's up to Jason Jones and the guys that have been there on that D-line to lead them, to get them ready to fill those spaces. So it really, we don't know. We have no dadgum clue what's going to happen this year.
Yeah. But
we got a pretty good feeling, and we always do because we're Auburn fans and we love pumping sunshine. But sometimes we have to have a pipeline. We're so far back in the woods to get it there.
Right.
That's all right. That's any fan base. That's
you gotta have like 2 or 3 pumps to get that sunshine to come up a little bit, to the surface.
Hey, old man lived so far back in the woods, you had to pipe the sunshine in. That's where we're at, and I'm okay with it.
Yeah,
but we have every opportunity to get better. It depends on how the coaching staff coaches these guys, how they prepare them for each game and each scenario in each game, because you game plan differently for 3rd down versus Texas A&M than you do Alabama, depending on their skill set, what they're putting on the field. And if they change it, you have to have a counterpunch. If you're going to get hit in the mouth, you better be ready to hit somebody back.
Yep.
That's sports.
It is. Well-rounded and always well thought through. We got to get you in that locker room for this summer. Just to kind of put it all into perspective for the boys.
If I was ever in that locker room, the only thing I'd tell them is, you better leave no doubt. You played the Auburn Tigers. You better hit somebody in the mouth, and you better make somebody want to quit and give up their scholarship.
You better make them quit. You better make them quit like you made Big Al quit.
He quit on his own.
But hey, you forced him to, though. You forced him to. So give yourself a little credit there.
He's soft. He's soft as laundry detergent, baby. He's soft.
That's probably true. And I'll trust your judgment on that because you have firsthand experience of that. It's always good to talk to you, my friend. Thanks for being here.
War Eagle, y'all.
War Eagle, man. All right, we got our next caller lined up here. We'll get him in just a second. Always good to talk to Mr. Thomas tonight. If you guys want to call in, I encourage you to get in line right now as we get, near the end of the show. But obviously, don't miss an opportunity to call in. You don't have to be on camera like Thomas was, but you can be. Would love to hear some perspectives and thoughts about what's on your mind, especially about as we entered into the summer. What are you doing that's Auburn this summer? What are you thinking about that's Auburn this summer? All right, our next caller. Speaking of Sunshine Puppet, we love him because he's our Captain Optimism. There he is, Mr. Kevin. What's going on, sir?
Let's talk about the wide receiver room.
What you want me to talk about on them, buddy? Well, hello now. what you want to talk about the wide receiver room?
Caleb Burton, all of them.
Yeah, do you have any opinions about him? Because I would love to hear what you think about him.
I think him.
Uh-oh. Kevin, you there?
Yeah.
Okay, we're getting a little bit of, you're cutting out a little bit. Try one more time. Mm-mm. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. Kevin, I'll tell you what, if you can hear me, call back in. Well, actually, try again. I think I've got you. Try one more time.
I'm here.
Yeah, okay. So, yeah, you finish your thoughts about the wide receivers.
I think Cam Coleman will score 28 touchdowns.
Did I hear you correct? Say 28 touchdowns? Kevin, try calling back in real quick. We'll get you in one more time. But try, Kevin, if you can hear me, try calling back in one more time. See if you get a better connection. But it's not coming through right now on my end. So try one more time. I'm gonna remove you right now from it. But call back in. Call back in if you can. We'll try him one more time. Looks like what's going to be one of those nights where connection issues may not be on his side. Obviously, he's very high on the wide receiver room, and it's easy to be. I would also caution everybody to not lump a lot of expectations on these kids. I'm trying to remember who to credit for saying this. Maybe it was a media member quoting Hugh Freeze at one of these summer events they do. Maybe that's what it was. So I don't know who to attribute it to. But I believe Hugh was asked about managing expectations for someone like a Cam Coleman, who clearly has the attention of the Auburn fan base and outside of Auburn as well, and is having a lot of expectations and hype heaped on him. He's not helping himself. I've said that a bunch. That's kind of my common phrase when I'm discussing Cam Coleman. When I say not helping, I mean, he's helping himself in terms of his stature, his fame, but in terms of managing expectations, it's not going well. He is had a great showing at a spring game, at 8A game. He obviously has his high school tape, his measurables. All signs are pointed in the right direction that Cam Coleman is as legit as advertised. But the question is will it show up when we get out there on the field? Great timing. It looks like Kevin is back, so we're going to give him one more shot here. What's up, buddy?
Now, hey, War Eagle.
That's a lot better. I can already tell. What you got? Oh, I jinxed him. He froze right when I
I think Cam Coleman will score 28 touchdowns.
Well, it's funny you say that, because we were just talking about managing expectations for Cam Coleman, but Kevin says expectations, manage him, get rid of it. 28 touchdowns, huh?
And Perry Thompson with 28.
So you literally are saying that Perry Thompson and Cam Coleman are going to break probably every wide receiver record at Auburn.
Yeah, then Fairweather, I got him with 29.
With 29. Let me tell you, hey, Kevin, let me just put it to you this way. If even just two of those do what you said, we're winning a national championship. That means that they're unstoppable.
And pray for Brian Beatty. He be out hospital soon.
I hope so. I really do. We don't know officially what's going on.
He has surgery, and he opened his eyes and moved his hands.
Well, I haven't heard that officially, so we always want to be very careful about what we're sharing. But it's our hope, right, that he's gonna pull through, and we're gonna get to see him again out there. Maybe not on the field, but in some capacity.
I put him on my prayer list at church.
Well said, sir. Absolutely. I the other day I was in the middle of getting ready to do something for E2C, and I don't say this to toot my own horn or anything. I'm just saying that if you believe in the power of prayer, please do so. I just felt compelled at that moment to pray for him. And it was, it's very sad what he's going through right now and what his family is going through right now.
He lost his brother.
Yeah. So that's a tragedy enough. Let's just pray that it doesn't become worse than that.
Hey, I got Cody Burns' number.
I saw that. I'm a big Cody Burns fan, so I approve of that number.
Where's he at? Where's he coaching at?
You know what? We'll find out for you right now. Just stand by. Last I checked, I believe he was in the NFL ranks. I could be wrong. It looks like he is currently a wide receivers coach for the New Orleans Saints. That is what it looks like at this time. I know. What did you say? Oh my, do you not like the Saints?
Yeah, I do, but a couple of Auburn players play for Denver Broncos.
They do, but those are two quarterbacks. And he didn't finish his career as a quarterback, but he's more of a wide receivers coach. So just so you know, he was at obviously Auburn and then Tennessee, and then went on to coach at New Orleans Saints. And he's been there for the last 3 seasons, it seems like. He's also coached at Middle Tennessee, Samford. He was a graduate assistant at Auburn and at Arkansas State.
Who do you think we hired as a softball coach?
I have no clue, Kevin. I honestly have no clue. From what I have been told, I get the impression that it will be an outside hire, meaning it won't be someone who's currently here or connected with the program. But I do think my thought was it would be wise for them to go get someone who is very well established in softball. I don't know who that is.
Hey, we need to get Patty Gasso.
And now, who is that? I'm not well versed on all the coaches there. So who's that?
She coaches Oklahoma Sooners.
All you got to tell me is Oklahoma in softball, and I'll say yes right now.
Yeah.
So if they have Oklahoma attached to them in softball, sign them up right now. I don't care, because they are the standard in softball right now.
Yeah.
They may not win the national championship every year, but they are always contending for it, and they seem to be there more often.
Hopefully Auburn be contending for it too.
I believe so. Remember, we were not too far removed from when Auburn and Oklahoma played for the national title in the softball championship. So that wasn't
That's
too far.
when we had Tiffany Newton?
Casey Cooper is probably who you're thinking of.
Casey Cooper, yeah.
Yes. Now official Auburn. She's on the official Tiger Walk downtown being honored. And that's pretty cool.
When will she be honored?
It's already happened. So they did every year on 8A weekend. They announced the new additions to the plaques downtown for the Tiger Walk Walk of Fame. And so she was honored this last year for that, and much deservedly so. I would say she's our biggest name.
I still think Peyton Thorne will be the starting quarterback.
Well, I think you're right. I think Hugh Freeze agrees with you, and I think people who are being level-headed about this.
And I'm hoping I get to meet Hugh Freeze at his fan day.
Well, I think they'll do something like a fan day. I don't know what exactly they'll do, but maybe you'll get an opportunity to say hello, get an autograph, all those
and
good
get
things.
Autographs from the players too.
We'll see. NIL is making it tough, but you never know. You never know. Kevin, it is good to hear from you, buddy. Thank you for calling in, and I'm sure we'll talk to you again next week.
Okay, War Eagle.
All right, War Eagle, Kevin. All right, that was our good friend Kevin. We will close. If someone gets in right now, we'll let them in, but we're going to close down the phone line officially right now at this time, because we are at our normal stop time. Doesn't mean we're going to run away right now. I see there are a couple other comments and things that we can address, but let me take this time to remind you of a few things about schedules, how to connect with us, all those good things. Reminders, this Sunday, we are not having the Auburn Experience live recording. It's our main podcast, the main show of everything we do with Austin and myself. Had a good episode last week that I hope you'll go check out. I've got some stuff to release, small snippets and stuff for you guys. It's been a busy week that I am planning on putting out. So I hope you'll go check those things out if you can. And then after that, we will be back again next Wednesday with another live stream. Now on TikTok, we are doing somewhat daily streams there around lunchtime. No really super set time there. So if you want some more of this type of stuff, join us on TikTok on midday Auburn chats there about anything and everything. Auburn gets a little bit more rowdy over there, but we keep them in check. Obviously, a lot of other content coming out for you guys throughout the week and throughout the summer across all social media, Facebook, Twitter, X, Instagram, podcast. Again, I've been really pushing you guys. If you're not subscribed to the audio podcast, like on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, what have you, please do so. It's a huge help. We want to continue to build that audience, and the more numbers that show up there, it lets those platforms know, hey, check this thing out. So please do that there if you can. So those are a couple things. If you're interested in helping support our content, consider checking out the Conquer Club via patreon.com/Auburn or that join button down below. Devin said, someone said we should get Duke softball coach. I do not keep up with softball enough. Same here, Devin. I'm in terms of like outside of Auburn stuff, I know nothing. I knew when Mickey Dean arrived that was a good hire, like in terms of perception, in terms of prestige, like at the time, you just mentioned Mickey Dean's name and there's going to be the boo birds that come out, which is pretty sad. I'll be honest with you. But that was a good hire at the time. I knew that much. I'm not as informed on anybody like that at this time, other than if it's from Oklahoma, I'm just going to flat out say yes, barring certain few things. I saw the baseball teams post about college baseball weekend at Globe Life Field in Arlington. I'm going to take my oldest son and make a day of it. That is cool because that sounds like a cool event. If it was closer, I would consider that. I think as much as I do like being at a series for a whole weekend, like here at Auburn for a baseball game, I think there's something really fun about getting to see what I call them the showcases, where they go play multiple teams. So you're getting to see good. I think it was Baylor, Ohio State, and Oklahoma State. I know Ohio State and Baylor were going to be there. That's going to be some good baseball. So if you can make it there, more power to you because that's going to be fun. Brian says, we were talking about this earlier. What do you think about College Football 25 coming out in July? I know that I am going to get to play it. We talked about that a lot at the start of the show, so I won't bore people too much about it, but super excited and ready to do that. Just got to buy the new system because it's time and buy the game and working on that. I got to get through this week and hopefully we will find out that life's going to be much simpler after all of these things. And Devin says she went to the similar baseball event a few years ago when they did that. And I think then they played Oklahoma, Arkansas, and another Southwesty team, I think is what it was. But obviously, I think that's going to be a good one next year. So I'll be super jealous if you get to attend that. Do you think College Football 25 will open up opportunities for an? Oh, great question. Was this? And somebody asked this earlier. I don't know if it was you 313, but yes, if it was you, sorry, I meant to say something about this. There was a college basketball game a few years back, and I really enjoyed it. But every time I played it, it crashed. I would love a real college basketball game to do March Madness on. I would be more excited about that, to be honest with you, probably than NCAA football, just because I've done NCAA football so much. So do I think it will open up opportunities? There's always a possibility. If it can happen there, it can happen here. But there's a reason that has not lasted as much as a NCAA football game. So I got to think that the reasons that kept that from happening are still at play because they weren't those. I know I'm being very vague, but the reasons that kept those from being as popular, I wonder if there's other things that keep a college basketball game from happening, but I would love to see it. The 2K, maybe that's the one I played. I'm not sure, but I would love to see it come back. Good question in the show, and I'd love to see us have something like a college basketball game. All right, folks. Again, thank you guys so much for joining me on Wednesday nights. Please, please, please do us a favor this summer. Let people know about us here. Get them here. Drag your friends here virtually. Let them know that we're on YouTube, on social media. Help us grow this little family within the Auburn family. It's that battle cry we have for you all every single summer. Let's continue. While we want to always be the best little family within the Auburn family, we still want to continue to grow that and make our ranks even bigger and stronger. And it's all because of you that we're here doing the things that we're doing. Thank you guys so much. Till I talk to you again. War Eagle.